Welcome to Oklahoma Unseen, Episode 4, The Thing in Lake Tenkiller. These stories, they don't start with proof. They start around a campfire. They start with cousins whispering after dark. They start with someone pointing out across the lake and saying, "You know what they say is down there, right?" When I was a kid, we heard stories about Lake Tenkiller, but these were not regular lake stories. They were stories about divers going down into the deepest water. Tales about old roads and old places beneath the surface. They used to talk about a town, or pieces of a town, buried under the lake. And one of those stories stuck with me. A diver went down into the deepest, darkest water. Visibility was low. Everything was green, quiet, and heavy. He was moving along the bottom when he leaned against what he thought was part of the lake floor. Maybe a hillside, maybe a mound of silt. And then it moved. Not a little. The whole thing moved. The story that we heard around the campfire was that it was bigger than a car. Some people said it was a giant fish. Some said catfish, but the legend said something else entirely different. This legend is about Tenkiller, and that legend is not just about a monster fish. There was another legend that said the lake was cursed, not in a cheap movie way, not because native people were out there casting spells on the water, something deeper than that. The legend says that this land already had a history before the lake ever existed. Old crossings, old roads, Cherokee land. A place connected to survival, removal, grief, and memory. Then the dam came, and the water rose, and pieces of that old world disappeared beneath the surface. Maybe the lake is not haunted because something evil moved in. Maybe the lake is haunted because something important was disturbed. Maybe whatever is down there is not just an animal. Maybe it's the guardian of the drowned places, dark pieces of a lost world. Something that never really left. Something protecting what the water covered. And once you hear this next encounter, the other stories will start to feel different. Two fishermen go out near dusk. The lake is calm. No wind, no waves. Just the heavy silence sits on the water right before the night takes over. They're sitting in a small aluminum boat, lines in the water, talking low, watching the shoreline fade into the shadow. Then the boat starts moving. At first they think it's just drifting, but then it starts to drift the wrong way, away from shore, deeper out into the lake. One of them grabs a paddle, the other pulls up his line, but the boat keeps moving, like something underneath has its back against the bottom of the boat and is pushing. The water ripples beside them, not from wind, from below. The boat slides further out. The shoreline gets smaller. The trees become a black line in the distance. Now they are out in the middle of the lake. Too far out. Too quiet. One of them shines a flashlight over the side. The beam hits the water. For a second, there's nothing. Then something passes underneath. Something huge. Something dark. Too big to make sense. The boat lurches again. Not like it was hit. Like it was being dragged. The men yell. They try to paddle. They try to turn back. And then suddenly it let go. That's the part that sticks. It let them go. When they got back, they tried to tell everyone, and that's when this became just another fishing story. Because when you look out across the black water, you're not just looking at a lake. You're looking at everything underneath it. The old roads, old memories, old grief, old stories, and maybe something massive moving through it all. Just under the surface. Just deep enough to where you can't see. Maybe it's a massive fish. Maybe it's an ancient curse. Or maybe this land remembers what happened here. Or somewhere under Lake Tenkiller, there's something still guarding the bottom. And every once in a while, it moves. This has been Oklahoma Unseen, Episode 4, The Thing in Lake Tenkiller. Please subscribe, like, and follow us on social media. Let's get creepy.